Are we live? So, hello, everyone. Welcome if you are new to the channel. Welcome back if you love me. I am very well aware that a video I have been working on since 6 o'clock this morning, mind you, it is now 9:45 at night, is just premiering. It took hella long to get it finished. I've been working on it for 3 days and 15 in total today, 15 hours in total today. And YouTube decided to take its good old time loading it. And so I was hoping it would be done loading and premiering and all that by the time I went live for the moon event, which is why I've started so late. Usually I'm trying to get online for this by like 7 or 8 o'clock. But I was hoping. We talk about hope being a bullshit word. Beautiful name, bullshit word. I was hoping it would be done before I went live for the moon event, but it is premiering now, so I am officially only in competition with myself. You can watch me live here for the moon event. You can watch the video that is premiering. It's called The Enslaved, the Enslaver, and the Breaker of Chains. I am in the live chat right now. I am in the live chat right now. Shout out to Rita and Christina, two of my beautiful divine diamonds, who are in there with me while it's premiering. So it doesn't matter where you're watching me. I love you and appreciate you for watching me wherever you are. And I'm sure you will enjoy the replay of whichever you end up catching later. Okay. But the secret code names for today are Glacier, Skylark, Khaleesi, and Magdalena. All right. So if you resonate to any of those secret code names, if you're drawn to them, something about one of them stands out to you, you feel like you need to listen to it, there is most likely a message in there for you. Okay. If you are not familiar with how these secret code names work, they are purchased by individuals via my Etsy shop, which is linked in the description. Okay. You can find my Etsy link there. It's under readings and services, and you can book the moon event. All right. These are their personal readings. Glacier is a secret code name that belongs to someone. It's their reading. They know it's their reading because they know their secret code name. All right. The beauty of these secret code names is if you are drawn to one, because we're all connected, the chances are there's a message in there for you to take away from it, or you wouldn't have crossed it in this divine time or been drawn to it in this divine time. Okay. Messages catch you when they catch you. So timestamps will be in the comments after the live is over. So you could fast forward, jump around to watch whatever secret code name or secret code names stood out to you. All right. One may pertain in one area of your life. Maybe a different one pertains to a different area of your life. All right. So whatever works for you. I'm just a messenger here. Okay. For today, with these readings, I am using the Icarus Tarot and the Wandering Moon Tarot. It's one of my new decks, and I haven't used it yet on the channel. So we're going to see what comes out with these. Starting with Glacier. Now this moon, by the way, this moon, before I even get into it, I want to talk to you a little bit about the astrology of it all, because the moon, the sun and moon are conjunct in Gemini, right? That's what makes a new moon. It's in square to Neptune in Pisces. It's also taking energy from Pluto, who just retrograded into Capricorn. All right. Quincunx. So it's a little bit of a wild card energy. And there's a lot of stuff coming up from the past. Saturn just went retrograde today with this new moon. So when I say things coming up from the past, I mean a lot. There's a lot of reflection. Like if you watch after you're done here, you go and watch the Enslaved, the Enslaver, and the Breaker of Chains video that's premiering right now. We're dredging up a lot of thought on how we got to where we are. right? This is a recounting of events that have created the pain cycles that we have found ourselves in, right? The choices that we make, how we dictate our experience via our choices, and what our choices have created based on our belief systems, right? The belief systems behind our actions. And so there's a lot of that energy going on with this new moon. Okay. So I digress. Glacier. Let's get started. Secret code name Glacier. And it's interesting because when I got the secret code name for this, I not just seeing a glacier, right, being given the image of a glacier by spirit, but specifically the face of the glacier cracking off and falling into the ocean. So I felt like these walls of ice starting to break away symbolically, right? Maybe ice that's been building for a very long time, right? Or that has been in place for a very long time. In a personal sense, it's a warming, right? The melting of the glaciers we know is always indicative of warming. And so I kind of felt that you may be having a warming of the soul or a big climate shift within the self, right? That the glaciers or the walls of ice are starting to come down. And I thought that was super positive. So we're going to see with this merging in the dark theme, what spirit has to say to you. We're going to use the Icarus Tarot to get a milestone and then some insight into what this merging is bringing, because new moons are clean slates. So spirit, please. What is the overall milestone for secret code name Glacier and those who would be drawn to it in divine time? Ooh, we got the Hermit. Virgoian energy. All right. We got the Hermit. And we've got the owl inside the lantern, right? So it almost looks like a cage. And then we've got this octopus-like, squid-like creature holding it up, right? And it's very inky. It's the Kraken, right? It looks like the Kraken. And it's holding the owl above water. Like it itself is an underwater creature. It's using the wand or the staff to help it float and drift. And it's keeping the wisdom or the owl above water. So you can see the water level, right? The Hermit. Now, as a milestone, right? This merging in the dark. I think that your most elusive self has come up to the surface, almost like the unconscious, right? Becoming made aware of, right? Like it's in your subconscious. It's not necessarily something you're talking about. You know, it's not necessarily something that you're having conversations about with other people and bringing into the conscious world of things. But it's definitely something that's been dredged up, right? The Kraken, we always, think of as a mythological creature that doesn't exist anymore, when maybe it's just been down in the depths for so long and unseen for so long that we forgot it's there. It doesn't mean it's not there, right? And it's no different with the different energies going on inside yourself, right? The different memories or, different feelings that have been buried within the self. There might be a lot of things coming up for you, and you're finding the wisdom in it, right? And the wisdom is what's being held up here. The owl is also symbolic of Pallas Athena, and Athena, right? Pallas Athena, especially in astrology, is our defense system. It's, she being a goddess of wisdom and war, She's not like Aries or Mars, which is a god of war, and he's aggressive, right? She's defensive. She's strategically defensive. She will not necessarily start a war, but she will finish one, right? It brings peace. And so, with this being your milestone, merging in the dark, I think you're starting to see patterns over the course of history. And I think being able to dredge them up and bring them up to actually consciously think about them, right? Especially if they were too painful to think about before. That's why we push a lot of things down, right? We don't like pushing down happy memories. We love thinking about happy memories, but we've suppressed a lot. We've negated a lot of the details, right? Maybe we were so focused on the positive or wearing our rose-colored glasses, even in regards to our memories, that we negated or denied a lot of the red flags that we got, a lot of the not so pleasant memories, right? And it's allowing the self to recall what's been buried, shoved down, or denied, and looking at the whole picture, right? So that you can get this wisdom from it. So let's see with the tarot here what this merging looks like, how it's going to be benefiting your reality, right? Because Gemini is the sign of the reality. It's analytical, it's logical, it communicates, it takes things for face value, right? This is what Gemini is. And with the sun and the moon being together in it, it allows us to upgrade our own emotional intelligence, right? It's emotional intelligence, and we're getting an upgrade. So let's see what is going on for secret code name Glacier. Ooh, we got the 10 of stars. That's the 10 of coins in this deck, the 10 of pentacles. What else? Because that's an awesome start. We got the two. Ooh, it wants to drop. We got the 2 of swords. The 3 of stars, which is interesting because there's an earth trine going on. Hey, Jaylee, nice to meet you. I hope I pronounced your name right. There's an earth trine going on, and it's with Pluto, Ceres, and Vesta. All right, Pluto in Capricorn, Vesta in Taurus, and Ceres in Virgo. Okay. Shaylee. Oh, okay, great. Thank you. All right, characters. Clarities. Might be dealing with some characters in your reality. We got the 6 of stars or the 6 of coins, right? Clarifying the 10 of coins. All right, clarities for the 2 of swords. The Wanderer. This is a special card for this deck. Is clarifying the 2 of swords. And clarifying this 3 of stars, please. The 4 of wands. Alrighty. Bottom of the deck is the moon. And top of the deck is the 5 of stars. All right, which is the 5 of coin. So Glacier. All right, secret code name Glacier. 5 of coins is typically momentum in a new direction in the reality, right? It's a shift. 5 are shifts. And typically, you know, if you think about traditional rider weight, you always see the figure, you know, with his crutches and everything walking away. It's kind of like an abandonment energy. Hey, Meddings, how you doing? Welcome back. The Five of Coins is a abandonment energy, right? It's feeling that left out in the cold, kind of. I'm hearing the word jaded, so I'm going to go with that, right? Leaving a situation, maybe feeling kind of jaded. And the moon on the bottom deals with childhood wounds, and the Nine of Stars is under that. So the wound may be revolving around independence and your ability to heal, right? Which is under that. We got the Star card under that. Your ability to be successful and sovereign and independent, right? That you don't really need anybody else in your experience to feel happy, healthy, whole, and full. Right. It's nice to have other people in our experience, but you don't need them to feel not alone. Right. I'm so glad. I'm so glad, Meddings. So I'm feeling, right, especially because we've got this Hermit card here, that you're really coming into a wonderful embracing of sovereignty and the beauty of being quote unquote alone, because sometimes you could be in a room filled with people and that's the most alone you feel. That's the most alone you feel, surrounded by people. If you can get to a place where you don't feel alone in the peace and the quiet, that's the best feeling. Right? That's the best feeling, when you can just feel whole and not alone when you're by yourself, right? So with the 10 of Stars and the 6 of Stars, I think that your initial view of what these cards mean is not what you think in the reality of it. I'm getting this vibe of, yeah, people think that the 10 of Pentacles is like, the happy family, or, the manifestation of the dream. And the 6 of Coins is, giving one person, giving to another. But the way that Spirit's giving it to me, and it's interesting because it actually reminds me of a painting that I did way back in the day when I was like 20, 21 or 22 or some shit. It's a painting I did a really, really long time ago. I don't even know where it is anymore. I feel like this is Spirit giving your own magic, your own essence, right? Your own soul's electricity back to you, so that this is possible. Because the silhouettes, right? The silhouettes make me feel like it's something ahead of you, something in the distance, especially because the backs are presumably towards you, right? That they're facing out towards the stars. I feel like Spirit sprinkling a little magic, sprinkling a little blessing on you, giving you a beautiful vision, or giving you time to establish what your vision, I want to say your new vision is. Okay. Especially because we have the 2 of Swords and the Wanderer, The Wanderer is gazing up at the moon, and the Two of Swords tends to be at a crossroads, right? Sometimes stuck between a rock and a hard place, and having this gypsy soul looking back at the reflection of the reality and wondering what it is that you really want to do with it, right? Because to be completely honest, a part of you wants to let it go. The Five of Stars on top, right? Part of you wants to let it go. And you know that the wound, the healing of the wound is claiming your sovereignty. Okay. Claiming your independence. That's the healing, right? Moving forward. The Six of Swords is under that. The Eight of Moons, which is the Eight of Cups, is under that. Fuck, the Fool is under that. Jump. Right? Fucking leap. Spirit's like, go, bitch. Go. What you waiting for? What you waiting for? My God, right? Because you're contracted with this Three of Stars, right? You're contracted to this fucking stability and soul, this Four of Wands energy. Spirit's like, yo, I told you your happily ever after was on the other side of fear, and all you had to do was jump over the line that fear wrote in the ground. Like, all you got to do is step over it. You just got to cross that threshold, right? Cross that threshold, tell fear to fuck off. And I can make your dream manifest in the reality. It's just a step away. You just got to take a step or two forward, right? That's it. Just do it. Do it. Do it. You know you want to do it. You know you want to do it, right? And I feel like that's Spirit kind of egging you on, right? Because Spirit knows your spirit, right? Not spirit, some source outside of yourself, some energy outside of yourself, but your spirit, right? Your capital S spirit within yourself. Your spirit knows you want to jump. Your spirit knows you want to move forward. It's literally fear and whatever that wound is, that other people's energy could affect you, other people's judgments or other people's opinions or other people's expectations would hold you back from jumping. And it's like cutting off that energy and being like, no, I'm not basing my choices off of you. I don't care what you have to say before I do it. I don't care what you have to say after I do it. I don't care what you say while I'm doing it. I'm going to do what I need to do to receive from my spirit, my highest self. I have to do whatever I need to do in order to receive my highest manifestation. My best self is guiding me. Everything else will work out in the healing of all, the highest good of all. Because if it's in my highest good and my highest good ripples, that's all that's going to come from it for everybody. It's about taking the leap, right? So the glacier, right, with all of this ice melting off, falling off, the warming of your own inner climate, I think that starts when you jump, when you move forward, when you leave the fear that keeps you stuck behind. You leave it behind. Okay. Merging in the dark. Have the emotional intelligence to register what it is you feel in your current experience and what you would like to try in order to improve the way receiving the experience feels, and give it a shot. Give it a shot. The best part is you can continue to do that as you go until it's just right. Until it's just right. So Spirit said, jump. Everybody jump, jump, jump. Everybody jump like this. I'm sorry. That's just where I went. That's just where I went. So I have faith if Glacier was your secret code name, or you have caught it in divine time. I have faith that you will listen to your best self. Because I think a part of you really doesn't want to deal with the what if. Sacrificing for other people or certain circumstances what's in your highest good until time has gone by and you can't get it back. I think that the what if I took that jump? What if I took that leap? What if I went after my joy? What if I didn't sacrifice my joy? I think that question mark is what's going to help you move forward. What if I didn't sacrifice my joy? I don't know. What if? Right? What if? So secret code name Skylark, moving forward, right? Secret code name Skylark. And I highly recommend looking up Skylark Animal Spirit Guide Medicine, right? Or Animal Spirit Guide Meeting, Skylark, because it's a Eurasian bird that apparently is super famous in poems and songs for its own song. It has a beautiful song and it's got quite a meaning. All right, so I would Google it. I would Google it for yourself, right? The spirit meaning of Skylark. Very special bird. Okay. Birds in general are messengers. This one in particular has a very divine connection. So, with that, let's get into it. Secret code name Skylark and those who have resonated to it in divine time. What is the milestone energy? What is the milestone energy, Spirit, please? Merging in the dark with this new moon in Gemini. Ooh, we got the High Priestess. The Piscean energy, right? Neptune and Saturn. Super significant to whatever Piscean placements you have in your chart or the house in which Pisces rules for you, right? For me, Pisces rules my midhaven. I'm a Pisces 10th houser. So listen, that's why I believe the world can heal. I very strongly believe it. So the High Priestess is the milestone, right? This is intuitive. This is discernment. This is the Akashic record, right? She's pointing into the book. This is universal law. It's having that feeling, right? That gut feeling. You know that certain choices in misalignment are going to create certain experiences that don't feel good. You know, certain choices in alignment that feel better create experiences that would feel good, right? It's very intuitive with the High Priestess. And I think what you're getting familiar with, especially because this card has all the skulls underneath the book that she's using as a book holder. I feel like you've been through enough ego deaths, enough humblings, enough saying, wow, I should have listened to my gut, or you know what, I had a fucking feeling I shouldn't have gone down that path, right? I had a fucking feeling I ignored the red flags, right? I think you've gone through enough ego deaths that you've learned quite a bit about discernment and listening to your intuition at this point. Okay. I think you've got a lot of wisdom there. And I think right now you're not afraid to be the villain either, right? Because this High Priestess is very red. Okay, she's very red, very Lilith, right? Very Lilith-esque. I think you're not afraid to walk away, right? You're not afraid to be the villain. So what if, being on the topic of Lilith, so what if Adam's pissed off you left? He pissed you off. Like, he gave you red flag after red flag and it wasn't fucking worth it to stay. Not in paradise, especially with him, right? It's not paradise. You can call it paradise, but it didn't feel like paradise, so she left, right? It's that kind of energy where you're listening to your gut sensing. If something doesn't feel right, if something feels off, you're just not doing it anymore. You're not going to sit there and be like, oh, well, let's find out. Well, why not? Well, whatever, fuck it. Let's try it anyway. No. You've been humbled a lot, right? You've been humbled a lot. You've gone through a lot of ego deaths and you ain't going against your intuition anymore. You're listening to the divine downloads. And what other people would call luck, oh, that's lucky. No, it's not luck. It's listening to your intuition. It's unveiling or opening up to the secrets of the divine. It's not luck. It's you. It's you and your connection with spirit and listening to your freaking higher self. That's exactly what this is. Okay. We're on secret coding Skylark. So let's get some insight into what this merging in the dark, this high priestess energy looks like. Let's see here. Secret code name Skylark. What insight, please, Spirit, for those drawn to this message in divine time? All right, we've got the Knight of Stars. And the Three of Moons. And give me one more and some clarities, please. And the Three of Swords. All right, so we got double threes now. Clarities. Clarify the Knight of Stars and the Knight of Pentacles for me. It was clarified by the Knight of Moons. Stars and moons, huh? That's Pentacles and Cups. All right, in traditional tarot. Knight of Stars clarified by the Knight of Cups. Knight of Moons. Clarify the Three of Moons. Clarify the Three of Moons, Spirit. We got the Nine of Moons. The Nine of Cups. And clarify the Three of Swords. We got the Full Moon in reverse. That's a card special to this deck. Got the Two of Stars on bottom. And the Ten of Swords on top. Okay. So all that talk that we were having about you being humbled a lot, I think it's very fresh on your conscious mind. Okay. I think it's very much so fresh in your mind. And it has a lot to do with juggling two different realities, right? The ideal versus the real. You have this ideal that you want to experience, and then this actual reality, right, that you're experiencing. And the Queen of Swords under that, and the Three of Wands under that. The truth is, you, and the Six of Swords under that. The truth is, you just want to move forward. You just want to start over. You've been through so much, and the heart knows you just really need a fresh start, right? And as you move forward to achieve your ideal as the real, right? Ideal as the real. I think it's kind of like, I'm getting this elephant energy, like you never forget, right? Never forget. You can forgive, right? You can forgive others for your own self, right? You could forgive yourself for the sabotage and the betrayal because you chose it, right? Not listening to your intuition or giving someone the benefit of the doubt, or ignoring a red flag, right? Hoping for the best. I think that because you've been there, done that, you're not giving people the benefit of the doubt anymore. You're not giving people second chances anymore. You're not ignoring red flags now. You done been humbled too many times, right? And you're very well aware of all the different betrayals that you've gotten along the path to get to where you are, right? You're at the top of the mountain now. All of these swords were in the past. All of those betrayals, you had to stick a knife in it every fucking time and end it. Because it was sabotaging you, it was hurting you, it was betraying you in some which way, shape, or form. It was not the manifestation you wanted. It was not the ideal. The reality wasn't matching up to the ideal you had in your mind. And so now you've reached this pinnacle, right, where you're at the top of the mountain and it's the view from up here. You've reached the top. And I don't think you're willing to go back down old roads and relive that shit over again. I don't think you're not willing to listen to your intuition. So if something's off or you're getting a red flag ping or whatever, you're just like, nope, fuck that. I've been there, done that. I'm too fucking grown. Too fucking grown to go back down those paths, right? So the Knight of Stars and the Knight of Moons. Coins and Cups. I think you're moving ahead cautiously. And I think you're moving ahead very real, right? In your communication style. Like, I think you're more reserved now. I think you know what you've been through. And I don't think you're giving anybody any sob story either, because I feel like you don't want their pity. I think you know where you've been. And I think it ends at, listen, I've been through a lot and I don't got to explain myself. I'm not feeling it. Best of luck to you. And it ends there. I don't think you're reliving or rehashing your past at all. Not literally with new people, right? New people, old story. And I don't think you're rehashing it in conversation either. I think you're showing yourself a lot of love. And yeah, you've been through a lot, but you've overcome a lot and you love who you are and where you are now. Who you are and where you are. And I think you're letting people know, like, listen, I trust myself. In so many words, I've been through so much shit. Believe me when I tell you, I trust myself. If you think you can lie, if you think you can gaslight, if you think you can manipulate or whatever, like, I'm going to smell it a mile away. It's done. It's squashed. You and I don't need to be friends. You and I don't need to work together. You and I don't need to be in a relationship. Right? I could do this shit on my own. If it's at work, you could do your job and I could do mine, and we can be professional. We don't have to be more than that. We can get a job done. Right? You're keeping it really real with people. Because the 3 of Moons and the 9 of Moons, 3 of Cups, 9 of Cups, I think your wish fulfillment and your joy, your abundance, your celebratory energy, I don't think you're letting third parties get in the way of that. I don't think you're letting third parties get in the way of that at all. I think you are almost hyper-focused on achieving your emotional fulfillment, feeling full and satisfied, satiated with life. That anything and anyone that could detour you away from your wish, it's not an option, right? I mean, we're sitting here with 12 cups. That's Piscean energy. It's Hanged Man energy. You're seeing things from a different perspective. You're not, quote unquote, trying out a path and seeing if it yields the result. You have the result in mind, and you're letting your intuition show you how to walk that path to achieve it, right? How to get to that destination. If you've got joy and abundance and feeling full and happy in your life in the forefront of your mind, and you're trusting your intuition to get you there, any red flag you get, nope, it's not that way. Nope, it's not that person, right? And the divine is telling you, hold the vision of your wish, and your intuition will guide you to the achievement of it, the manifestation of it, right? Three of Swords with the full moon. See, full moons are all about release. And it's in reverse. The moon holds the keyhole, because there's the full moon and the new moon in this deck. And in the new moon, the keyhole is on the hand. But in the full moon, the keyhole is on the moon itself. Okay. This Three of Swords energy, the pain and sorrow. And the full moon being in reverse, I think what might truly only be in your way now is the release of all this. Because right now, standing on top of the mountain, you can look ahead or you can look behind, right? When you're at the peak, when you're at the tippy top, you have a 360-degree view. If you were to think about that, right? If you were on the tippy top of a mountain, you could literally turn 360 degrees and see the entire view. I think where you're at right now is okay. I think in what you're doing is looking back at the path you just came from. Right now you're reflecting back on the path you've come from. And you're seeing all the swords stuck in the ground, all the betrayals you've been through, all the sabotage you've been through, all the humbling that you've been through, all the lessons, right? All of the lessons, the different circumstances and different relationships or dynamic ships with people that was possibly the same lessons over and over and over and over again, beating you in the fucking face until you got it, right? And you're looking back at all that pain. And I think all that's really left is to turn your back to it and walk back down the other side of the mountain, new path, leaving the old swords behind you. That path's gone. And once you start walking forward down the mountain, right down the other side of the mountain, if you were to turn around and try and look back at those swords, you can't see them. Think about that. Think about that perspective. Once you turn your back on the pain and start moving forward, you took one last look at the lessons back there. All right, I got it. Nothing's going to stand in between me and my fulfillment. Not even myself. Not my past. I'm going to move forward. And I'm not going to let my past keep me stuck at the top, because I have somewhere else I need to be. The path doesn't stop there. It's not ideal. Being at the top of the mountain is great. It's a huge pivotal moment in the journey. It's climactic, right? If we think about the climax of something, or the crescendo, right? It's the building to this climax, and then it tapers off. You've reached this huge pinnacle of lesson learning, and now Spirit's like, all right, just relax for a while. Chill. It's easier. The way down is easier than the climb up. Promise. Let's get you to where you're going. Enjoy the scenery. Relax a little, right? It's not an intense, aggressive lesson learning climb anymore. It's a chill period. Like spirit will drill us and drill us and drill us and drill us until we fucking get it. And once we get it, it chills out. It gives us time, right? It gives us time to just enjoy the fact that we learned the lesson and life is relatively easy compared to what it was, right? It gives us time to figure out where we're going once we get back to a level playing field with the rest of the people who have also gotten over that mountain. You're on the same playing field with everybody else, the same level with everybody else. And you're moving towards the next lessons. I mean, that is why we're here after all. We hang out in the valley for a while. I think you have to be able to let the pain go. And that's just a reminder. Like, it's great you got to where you are, but don't forget you have to turn around and walk away, not look back at it anymore. Love the lesson. Keep the lesson. But don't go back to focus on the pain. Right? If you're going to look backwards, it's just to remind yourself of the lesson, not to rehash all that shit back there. What does rehashing it do? You know? So that's Skylark. Merging in the dark. I think you're definitely coming into your new self. Right? Definitely coming into your new self. Okay. Moving forward. Secret code name Khaleesi. Secret code name Khaleesi. All right, Spirit, please. For Khaleesi and those who would resonate to it. The milestone is Judgment. It is Scorpionic energy and most definitely Plutonian energy. So Scorpio still has the South Node in there. And Pluto just went back into Capricorn. Right? They're actually in sextile right now. Sextile? Square. They're in square right now. Okay. South Node and Pluto. The signs are sextile, but the actual degrees make it a square. Okay. I feel with that Judgment card, because the South Node is kind of like a magic eraser. Okay. And Pluto, well, that's a transformation agent. And those things are in conflict. So things that we have been attached to, because Scorpionic energy can yield attachment, possessiveness, right? This is my person. These are my things. This is my life. This is my job. This is my fill in the blank, right? Scorpio can be possessive. And with South Node in there, it's been magic erasing things, right? It's been magic erasing things that we have fixed ourselves to. Scorpio is a fixed sign. And Pluto has been transforming the way we do things in Capricorn. You know, it dipped into Aquarius, changing the way that we think or perceive. But in Capricorn, it's about changing how we do things, how we dictate our experience with our choices. And because Scorpio is also very unconscious in the depths, right? Very mysterious part of the self. I feel like this is very much rewriting the belief systems that create the why we do things the way we do, why we choose what we choose. I think with this imagery, right, of the fetal position, that you're kind of going back into what is essentially like a sacred womb space with yourself, like your chrysalis, right, or your cocoon. I think that you're shifting. I think that you're shifting right now. I think that as things come up from your past, because the judgment is a resurrection, I think as things come up from your past, whether they're past people or past energy, past situations, right? Even revisiting past places, reading old conversations, right? Whatever it is. I think that ultimately you might not want to change, but you know that you kind of have to change, right? Your wounds, your fixations would tell you to stay the same, right? Your attachments, your addiction to fill in the blank would tell you to stay the same. But your experience, the way you receive it, the way it feels to receive the experience, is asking you to shift, right? It's asking you to shift, to step into your power, right? To identify your weaknesses, quote unquote weaknesses, where your addictions are, right? Where your fixed or stubborn energy is, and allow it to dissolve, right? So that you can be born into something else, right? If you think about the butterfly, it literally starts as a caterpillar and it turns to fucking mush. It dissolves. It dissolves and then starts to reform into this butterfly. And I think that that's kind of where you're at. I think you're having to accept the dissolving of the self. That this is who you were, but it's not who you are anymore. And if you think about the journey of Khaleesi, right, in Game of Thrones, like she started out in the series as the sister of some fucking J.O. and turned into the fucking Khaleesi. She was this beautiful butterfly. It's a shame that the fucking screenwrites totally made her fucking crazy, right? That she didn't actually break her own chains. She was the breaker of chains for everybody else, but at the end of the day, she couldn't even break her own karmic chains. She was crazy just like every other fucking person in her family line, which I was fucking sad about. I fucking loved Khaleesi. But anyway, you know, this is where you shift and you dissolve who you were and become who you were always truly meant to be, and not what everybody else told you that you were always going to be, right? Kind of denying fate and truly embracing destiny, right? Insight, please, Spirit. for secret coding, policing, and those who would be drawn to it in divine time. We've got the Fool. What else? Oh, we got a lot. The Three of Moons. The Strength card. And then we got the Page of Stars, clarifying the Fool. And the Devil, clarifying the Three of Moons. And then I need one more for the Strength card, Spirit, please. And the Ace of Moons. It's the Ace of Cups with Strength. Okay. Bottom of the deck is the Moon. There we go, camera. Thank you. And the top of the deck is the Eight of Moons, which is the Eight of Cups. All right. So, which way do you go if all directions are unknown? Right? Which way do you go? Reminds me, and I don't remember the scene verbatim, in Alice in Wonderland, when Alice is talking to the Cheshire Cat about which way to go because she's looking for the White Rabbit. And he's talking about the different ways, and you can go any way you want to go. And she's just like, but I want to go where the White Rabbit is. He's like, what rabbit? The White Rabbit. You know what I mean? It's just, he's saying, well, go in whichever direction you want to go. Like, all ways lead to the same place, essentially. And she wasn't quite getting or understanding the madness and the brilliance in the Cheshire Cat, right? But all directions are unknown, because forward is forward. When we leave any kind of childhood wound behind and serve justice to it, when we bring alchemy to it. What a fucking bottom of the deck there. 3 major arcana. When we alchemize our path and we choose forward, when we bring justice and balance, right, to our wounding, all forward directions are unknown. And yet, we still choose one. We still choose one. Right now, I think you're reconciling the wounds you've taken on, or the belief systems that you were indoctrinated with, whether you realized it or not as a youth. What are your beliefs? What are your beliefs? What did you believe as a kid that you were indoctrinated out of? And I'll give an example, because I've given this example before. I've talked about this part of my story. When I was in kindergarten, and on the first day of kindergarten, Miss Sweezy sent me home on the wrong bus. I was supposed to be on bus 5, and I ended up on bus 6, and I met Tom. And Tom was the knight in shining armor of a 6-year-old and would not leave me until I was safe and home. And he knew it. He held my hand the whole time on the bus because I was a mess. Tom was the last stop, and that was not my stop. So when the bus driver said, "All right, kids, get on off," I started crying. So I was like, "This isn't my house," right? Because kindergarten, they drop you off at your house. And so the bus driver had told Tom to, get off and that he was going to take me home. And Tom was like, "No, I'm not leaving her. Not until I know she's home safe." And he held my hand, right? And I fucking fell in love with Tom. And Tom came from a really troubled family. And, but Tom was my best friend. Like from that day forward, like we were inseparable. He was in Miss Snyder's class and I was in Miss Sweezy's. And when we'd line up in the morning outside, me and Tom were holding hands across the lines. Like, and the aides couldn't fucking pull our hands apart. Like it was me and Tom. And once the summer hit and Tom ended up transferring to a different school, I wanted to go play with Tom. And he only lived right across the highway, right? But my mom wouldn't take me to go play. Tom was just a boy, but she wouldn't take me over there, and she wouldn't come pick him up and bring him over to play with me either. She just kept saying, "No, no, no, Tom, Tom's family's trouble. He's going to be trouble one day." But to me, Tom was an innocent 6-year-old boy who was the best person in the whole world. And it makes me wonder, if Tom and I were closer, if I was allowed to be with Tom at 6, if he was allowed to be my best friend, would he have ended up in the troubled life that my mother predicted he would? He's a troubled kid. He's going to end up on drugs. He's going to end up a drunk, just like his father, just like his grandfather. He's going to end up trouble. You don't want to hang around with kids like Tom. But had I been an influence in his life, could it have been different? How I feel about drugs and alcohol and stuff. Like, what if Tom was hanging out with me instead of the kids in his neighborhood? What if Tom had a good family influencing him? Would he have ended up doing drugs at 13 years old? Would he have died of an overdose? Or would his life have been different? Would he still be alive right now? Would me and Tom still be together 30 years later? Right? What if my 6-year-old self knew and believed in the beauty of a person and I was indoctrinated out of it? What if? What if I believed that with the right care and the right nurturance that people could be better? And I was told that's not true. What beliefs did you hold? Because right now you're moving forward into the unknown, right? With this 8 of moons. And you've got to strip away and bring justice to the wounding of your childhood, your young adult self, your child self. The moon's also Piscean, right? And Cancerian, in my own opinion, because the moon is the fucking moon. It's highly intuitive. What did your soul have right? What did your soul have right? Because you know what? Despite all Tom's addictions and all the pain his addictions put him through, he was still the most charming, beautiful person. He was always the knight in shining armor. He would stop what he was doing to help anybody, give the shirt off his back for anybody. He was the most beautiful human. but he was allowed to be influenced by addicts and became one. And it ended up ultimately taking his life. What if we believed in the best of people? Ourselves included. Ourselves included. Right? In the video that I was recording today, right? The enslaved, the enslaver, and the breaker of chains. Right? And we're talking about Khaleesi. We're talking about Khaleesi, right? The breaker of chains. I had given this analogy, right? Or metaphor, like when we're kids, we're punished, right? And told you're not doing it right. You're wrong. Be like this. Don't be like that. Right? We're corrected for being ourselves. Don't be yourself. Be what I want you to be. Be what I'm teaching you to be. Right? We're indoctrinated and muffled in a sense. Like who we are is like, it's like having a beautiful crystal, and then someone taking the crystal, and instead of just being in its raw power and its raw beauty, it's being chipped away, all these little chips, right? I want it to be the shape I want it to be, and I want it to look the way I want it to look. And you're like, no, I don't want to be chipped. I don't want to be shaped. I just want to be, right? As a kid. But you're being corrected. Be like this. Don't be like that. Who you are is not good. Who you are is not acceptable. I'm judging who you are. And it sucks. Instead of people letting us embrace who we are, or people embracing who we are, the difference, right, between us and someone else, they try and make us fit this cookie cutter idea of what's acceptable. And I think you're ready to take a leap of faith on seizing an opportunity for yourself. That's a laurel crown. I think you're about to take a leap of faith into your own victory. The Three of Cups and the Devil, I think you're looking at people, third-party people, for the binding energy that they are, the restrictive energy that they are. Fit inside my box. Fit inside my box. Don't you dare break through the ceiling. Stay inside this dark box. Third-party energies, whether they're people, places, or situations. I don't think you want to deal with it. I don't think you want to do it anymore. It's like your authentic self is suffocating inside that box. It's like itching to break out. And I think that's exactly what you do. I think the Strength card with the Ace of Moons, the Ace of Cups, I think you bust the fuck out the box. The Ace of Cups is an overflow. It's an overflow of love to the self from spirit, right? Traditional Rider Waite, you see the dove, right? Carrying the blessing into the cup. The cup overflows. I think you're pulling up the strength. I think you're pulling up the divinity within yourself. I think your spirit is breaking out. I think you're in this chrysalis phase, this cocoon, right? This womb, which the Ace of Cups also denotes, right? It denotes the womb, just like the Ace of Wands is kind of phallic in its masculine ignition. The Ace of Cups is like that for the feminine. It's the vessel. It's the divine vessel. The receiving. I think right now, with this new moon in Gemini merging in the dark, I think you're getting divinely fierce. I think you're getting divinely fierce. I think you're tired of watching life just slip through your fingers. I think you want a brand new fucking start, and I think you want to put all that shit behind you. I think this transformation is going to help you not just change your life, but become this transmutation kind of crystal for other people, right? That you would act like a crystal, like how we have crystals and hold crystals and shove them in our bra, you know what I mean, for certain energy. Like we carry our money stones and our protection stones and our clear stones and all that shit. You know, we have all these crystals to help shift our energy. I think that spirit, the universe, is going to be kind of using you as a crystal in a sense for other people. That your presence, your wisdom, the knowledge of your experience being applied to change your life. Leading by example, I think Spirit's kind of using you as a crystal, that you're going to start healing things wherever you go, because you've been through an exceptional amount of healing yourself. With your secret code name being Khaleesi, I will say this. Refrain. Hear me out. Refrain from being reckless or careless and forgetting who you are. You are not your ancestors. You are not the toxicity of your ancestral karma, your family line. You can showcase beautiful, new, and different. You can be a complete blessing and a breaker of chains. But do not digress and forget how far you've come, because you are not the same. You are not the same. Okay. Khaleesi. You are not the same. I think you'll thoroughly enjoy the video premiering right now. The Enslaved, the Enslaver, and the Breaker of Chains. It's premiering, but you can rewind it to the beginning and start it over if you'd like. All right. Magdalena. It's literally the song by A Perfect Circle. So you might want to look it up, YouTube it. If you were drawn to this reading, The Secret Code Name, and you haven't heard the song, or it's been a while, right? There's lyric videos. There's something about the song Magdalena. So if you were drawn to this, it's your secret code name. There's a message in there for you. All right. So Spirit, please. For secret code name Magdalena. And those who are drawn to it. What is the overall milestone of this energy? We got High Priestess and Ritual. Ritual. Interesting. Now, ritual can be something as simple as an intention candle. It can be doing a letter burning, right? Sometimes people write their intentions down and burn it and give it to the divine. right? It can be more complex ritual. It could also be routine. What's your ritual every morning? Right before you go to work, what's your routine? When you come home, what's your pre-bed ritual, right? Your pre-bed routine. Maybe if you like athletes have their rituals, right? They do their rituals before a game. So we think of ritual, right? It has all these different meanings. The high priestess too is super occult. Very magical in her own right. Right? This Piscean energy. Deep water. Deep subconscious. There might be certain triggers that set off a train of thoughts, right? Right. If we think about ritual and the idea of the subconscious is the thoughts that spin in our head and the feelings that come up. It's almost like, here's an example. Something happens or someone says something and it prompts you to remember a certain individual. And anytime you think about that individual, you have to listen to a certain song. And every time you listen to that certain song, certain emotions come up, certain memories come up, and you relive all the memories and you relive all the emotions, and it's a ritual. Every single time that trigger gets set off, you do the same thing. You listen to the song, you think about the memories, you feel through things, right? And it happens every single time. Some people do that shit when they drink, right? Piscean energy can be drinking. Some people drink to remember. Some people drink to forget, right? Look up Dave Matthews. Grace is gone. Another great song. But it's like a ritual, right? Some people have rituals with their friends. Some people go out every Tuesday night. Every Tuesday night, it's their night, and they go to trivia, or they go to karaoke, or they go to Taco Tuesday, or whatever the fuck they do. It's a ritual. This is about intuition, secrets, magic, and ritual. And the fact that Magdalena is by a perfect circle, just the name, a perfect circle. It's like everything comes full circle perfectly. Everything comes full circle. Let's get some insight. Let's get some insight. All right, Spirit, please, for secret code name Magdalena, and those who would be drawn to it in divine time. Emerging in the dark with this new moon in Gemini, what insight can we have for this? We've got the Ace of Wands. Ignition, spark. We've got the Knight of Swords, truth and communication, incoming quick, right? And the Wanderer with the Emperor. The Wanderer is a special card for this deck. And very much so is this cross between the Hermit and the High Priestess energy for me. right? She's literally sitting on the moon looking at another crescent moon. Clarities, please. Wow, the Ace of Wands is clarified by the Tower. And it's crazy. The image that I just got, there's this stone or mountain, whatever you want to call it, in Australia. I think it's called like the belly button of the world or some shit. But it reminded me of that. Like the crystal fell out of the sky and crashed into the ground. That's just what that reminded me of. Such a random thought. The Tower is clarifying the Ace of Wands. This ignition is fucking shattering. This is major life change. Because it's a major change in direction. This is willpower driven by revelation. Willpower driven by revelation. Clarify the Knight of Swords, please. The Three of Cups. All right, clarify the Wanderer with the Emperor. The Ace of Moons in reverse and the Five of Swords. We've got the Seven of Swords on the bottom. And Justice on top. All right. Sorry, I'm being nosy on the bottom of the deck. For some of you, and this may be for any one of you who are drawn to the secret code name, because obviously there's a message in it for you. Inspiration, driven by what feels like revelation. Okay. And a communication about joy. With or for a third party, a party outside of yourself. Not of this world, right? The Wanderer is not of this world. She's sitting on the moon, looking at the moon. And the Ace of Moons is the Ace of Cups, and it's in reverse, which is to me like a spilling out, a pouring. Leaving where you've come from in order to pour here. Because the Emperor was in conflict, or the Emperor was in the middle of a battle and was outnumbered. So it's almost like you came in and joined the fight. Your own masculine energy, right, chose to battle. Even if you were outnumbered. You may have cast an intention for someone's healing. realizing when you did it or after the fact in hindsight that you essentially wished for your own. And it may feel like it was robbed from you with the Seven of Swords. But the work was done. The choice to move forward was made. And the sun broke through the wall. I had a big discussion about the wall today in the Enslaved, the Enslaver, and the Breaker of Chains video. Broke through the wall and got the sun. This journey, right? This journey, abandoning the devil, abandoning the shadow, abandoning the restriction, breaking the chains. That you would come in as the nurturer, right? The Queen of Moons. And come into this place where you're literally trapped in your mind because you're not used to this world. You're not from this world. And you're trapped in your mind with all of this stuff from the world, right? From life. And yet, instead of missing an opportunity like most Four of Cups cards, you grabbed it. You are not distracted by the Three of Cups. You are not distracted by the third parties. You actually seized the divine opportunity, the Ace of Cups. You actually seized the Ace of Cups and moved forward. And moved forward. Yeah, you poured it out. You poured out that Ace of Cups on the Three of Swords and created this opportunity for growth, turned it into the Empress to complete a cycle. And came out sovereign. Came out sovereign in union with the self. The King of Coins, Master Manifester, right? The King of Stars. We being mad nosy on the bottom of the deck right now. Victory, Six of Wands. Really, you're in this world, but you're not of this world. Some people would call you an earth angel. Other people might call you weird or crazy. How you might have to convince yourself you're not crazy sometimes. You might most definitely feel like a fucking alien here, like you don't fit. Because you're not like everybody else. You took a trip here to show everybody else that there's more to life. There's more to experience than the bullshit karma they put each other through. You cast an intention, a very deep one, to heal. Really, the ritual is card 26. The 2 and the 6, this is balance and unconditional love to create abundance. The 2 and the 6 to the 8. Together with the other 2 of the High Priestess, that's 10. That's initiation magnified. It's the beginning, right? The ending and the beginning, the simultaneous stop and start. Because as soon as you turn the last page of a chapter, the new chapter starts. I think that you have an energy that is naturally balanced within the self in the vibration of unconditional love, and you create abundance. That is what you do. No matter what that abundance is, you can't help it. It happens wherever you go. Everything you do, it's an abundance of this, it's an abundance of that, right? An abundance of love, an abundance of compassion, an abundance of money, an abundance of stability. Wherever you go, you bring whatever's needed. Whatever the missing piece is, you're the missing piece. You fill it in. You're the earth angel here. You're not of this world. You've wandered into this domain. To essentially pour out love, because you were already full. You were already full before you got here, and you didn't forget how to stay full. No one can actually drain you empty. You just fill yourself back up. And humankind, mankind, whatever you want to call it, the masculine collective here was in conflict. And so you drew your sword and went to battle, even though you were completely outnumbered here. You came anyway. You caught this reading. This is the one you were drawn to. And this is the message I got. Don't forget who the fuck you are. Ain't nobody gonna steal your shine. Your shine ain't even over this fucking world to begin with. They can't steal it. It's like someone reaching up and trying to steal the moon. Can't do it. Really, secret code name Magdalena. I don't know who the fuck they thought they were messing with. You came here fighting for them and they don't even fucking know it. They might be fighting you, right? Battling you like you're the fucking enemy and you're like, dumbass, I'm on your side. I'm not the enemy. Snot. Really. I love you guys so much. I hope that you enjoy the readings and that they serve you in the highest good in hindsight whenever you catch them. And I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.